You know their names. You know their story. You've seen them fight. You've seen their glory. However, there is more to Hogwarts than the tales of Potter, Weasley and Grainger. More than just these three dared face the danger. Within these hallowed halls there are stories lost to time, fables of old, legends untold, conquests, betrayals, and love ever so bold. And where there are stories, there are mysteries too, conundrums, enigmas, and riddles for you. So come one, come all, the new belles of the ball, wizards and witches, twitches and glitches, no time for regrets, for this is Violet Delacour and her many secrets.
There'll be a dramatic reading of this. What is this, you say? What is this that is happening, you are asking? What is this arcane artifact you hold in your hand, young lady? And the answer is, first of all, do not call me young lady, I will fight. Second of all, this is a fan fiction I wrote when I was 10 years of age. This is an artifact from approximately 20 years ago. Unfortunately, a little timely because the person who wrote the series that it is based on is a transphobic idiot and she just released a book. But I say our headcanon is that her 7-book series and multiple movies are actually fanfiction of this powerful piece of work known as Violet Delacour and Her Many Secrets. You can see, let me see if I can show you. Here we go, Violet Delacour and Her Many Secrets. So, I was going to talk to you about the things. I was going to do the part where I talk, but you just redeemed 2 of them. You just redeemed all 3, so I guess I will do 1, and then maybe, well. So, let's get into Violet Delacour and Her Many Secrets. Let's see if I can keep this accent up the whole time. Yes, I did keep a printout of a fanfiction that I wrote when I was 10 years old about Harry Potter. You'll understand where my values lie very quickly. Violet strolled down Diagon Alley, looking for her close-knit group of friends. "Hey, Violet, over here," her friends called, rushing towards her. "Hi, guys," said Violet. "Did you see who Harry Potter's with?" "Yeah," said her friend Cassidy. "Perfect, pretty, prissy Lilith." "What?" screeched their friend Gabriella. "Yeah," said Haley, another friend. "It's the beginning of our 7th year, and Harry has to go out with her," she finished mockingly, shooting a steely look at Lilith, who was strolling by hand in hand with Harry, who looked quite content. Oh no, we're about to ruin this boy's life for no reason. "Well, we'll get her for this, and her little dog too. Ah ha ha ha," cried Ari. You watch too many Muggle movies," Violet said, backing slowly away from Ari. Hermione jogged over. "Hi guys," she said. "What have I missed?" "Your friend Harry," snapped Rena. "Who's that?" "What?" said Hermione. "Look," Violet said, pointing at Harry and Lilith kissing in the far back of Diagon Alley. "Oh well," said Hermione, "now there's more time to spend with you guys." "Come on, girls," yelled Violet. "This is going to be the best school year ever." 3 weeks later, the group of girls, which included... Wait a minute, what? There's 7 friends in this group of friends. And one of them has my real name. Which is not the self-insert. The self-insert is clearly Violet Delacour. 3 weeks later, the group of girls, time jump, which included Violet, Hermione, Cassidy, Ari, Rena, Gabriella, and Haley, squeezed to the back of the Hogwarts Express. "Here's one," yelled Gabriella. "Good job, dearest Gabby," said Ari. "Girls, over here, there's an empty compartment." How are they going to fit 7 people in that compartment of the train? Those compartments are not big enough. This was before the movies came out, before I knew how big a train compartment was. The group all squeezed into the compartment at the end of the train. Didn't they just say that? Hey guys, look at this," said Violet, spying a sign that was posted by a rack where their trunks were. I just need you to know that most of the yours and theirs are the wrong ones. Like, every time I've met a your in this, it's the wrong your or the wrong there. Like, there is just there, like, their trunks, not like their trunks. Violet read aloud. I need you to look at this part. It's in script. I use different fonts. Very important. Notice. There is going to be a beginning of year and winter ball this year. The beginning of year ball is on September 1st. The winter ball is on December 22nd. There is also going to be an end of term ball the day after each term ends. You do not have to wear robes. You may wear dresses and other formal attire. Thank you, Professor McGonagall. "Oh my gosh," said Violet. "There is a ball today, and I need to ask someone." "Me too," chorused the rest of the group. "Let's go then," said Violet. "Wait a sec." Violet grabbed a hair tie from her trunk and tapped it with her wand. It started to emit purple luminous sparks. With a wave of her wand, her robes turned deep lavender, and the hair tie had fixed itself in her golden hair, making the hair sweep up in a ponytail. Violet's blue eyes sparkled. "Let's go," she said. "Is that how you're going to the ball?" Ari asked in awe. "Oh no," Violet said, smiling. "I can do much better than this. Now let's go." The group ventured down the compartments, asking boys they knew if they could go. Violet had been rejected by all of them. Hermione was going with Seamus, Ari was going with Dean, Gabby was going with Fred, Haley was going with George, Cassidy was going with Ernie Macmillan, and Rena was going with Justin Finch-Fletchley. Finally, they reached Harry and Ron's compartment. Violet brushed a bright pink. Ron gaped at her open-mouthed. You're, he said vaguely. "Avila," Violet finished pleasantly. "Yes, Ron, I am. But I really want to speak to Harry here." "Who are you?" asked Harry. "I'm Violet Delacour, Fleur Delacour's little sister. And Harry, I have known you forever. Your aunt sees my house every day. I always come over to see your aunt. You know the way she talks about you, you'd think she was the most caring person in the world," said Violet. "Caring?" yelled Harry. "Yes, caring," said Violet. "But that's not my point. Harry, will you go to the beginning of year ball with me?" "Sure, but will you tell me who you are?" he said. "Oh, Hermione will," she said, and she skipped down the compartments, leaving Hermione to explain Violet's life. That's weird. We're not gonna read that part. There's like part where like a young girl marries Snape. That's not good. Let's just get to the part where they describe the outfits. Also, Sirius is still alive in this because I wrote it before the 4th book came out. Spoilers. A few hours later, at 9:00 p.m., the girls were getting ready for the ball. Oh my gosh, that's the time it is now! We're getting ready for the ball! Everybody, get ready for the ball. Who's getting ready for the ball? Please describe your outfits in the comments. It would be in 45 minutes. Thanks. Violet got ready in the mirror, magicking all the things she needed to her and fixing them to look better. All the other girls were doing the same. At 9:30, the girls went down to the entrance hall to meet their dates. Very, very particular with time I was. They all decided to go down there to meet for the sake of the girls who were going with people in other houses. "You look nice," stammered Harry, spying Violet and going over to her. Ron dashed to her in. Violet was wearing a light blue-purple silk dress that had tiny fairies dancing across the low neckline. It had spaghetti straps with little stars embroidered in silver on them. It swept down to her ankles, and it was very floaty and slinky. On her feet were lavender silk slipper-like shoes that had a quarter-inch heel. The silk had hardened into the shoes, which left a trail of minuscule silver stars wherever she went. Her golden hair was swept up into an elegant French plait that was tied at the end with a silver tie that had medium-sized, glittering purple stars on it. Cassidy was wearing a long-sleeved red velvet dress. Her black hair was in a pretty bun that had gold stars glittering around it. Her shoes were like Violet's, but red with gold stars. Haley was wearing a sky blue silk dress with see-through sleeves. Her red gold hair was let down, and she had a gold shooting star circlet. She was wearing gold high heels that played a pretty tune when she wanted them to. Rena was wearing a gold dress that had spaghetti straps and a slit down one side. Her brown hair was in a ponytail, and her shoes were gold too. Eliza was wearing a black velvet dress like Rena's and gold high heels. Her hair was in an elegant knot at the nape of her neck. Ari was wearing an emerald green sand dress and shoes. Her vivid red hair was in a pretty braid that was... I referred to it as a plait earlier. Why did I switch? Anyway. That was tied with an emerald green hair tie. Hermione's hair looked the same as it did at the Yule Ball, and she was wearing a blue silk dress. Her feet were slipped into gold high heels that clicked when she walked. Warren's hair was in a bun, and she was wearing turquoise high heels and a dress of the same color. Harry was wearing emerald green robes, and Ron was wearing blue robes. The rest of the people didn't want to be talked about in this book. Violet's friend Lily... Another person? Violet's friend Lily Robinson dashed over. "Violet," she said, panting, "I'm sorry I wasn't there at Diagon Alley." "That's okay, cuz," Violet said, patting her cousin's back. Lily was wearing her black, silver-streaked hair in a Pollyanna, which is that thing where only the top layer of hair is in the ponytail. She was wearing aqua silk robes and black suede tie heels. The tie heels are the high heels that tie in the front a bit. "Oh, Harry, I'm sorry, I have to go," Violet said, checking her watch. She dashed away. From Violet's point of view, it's marked right there, you can see. From Violet's point of view, we're switching to first person. I rushed up the stairs to my dorm. I had to get ready for my part in playing music for the ball. I completely forgot about this. I had volunteered privately after the feast. No one knew I was playing besides Dumbledore and McGonagall. I dashed to my trunk, grabbed my wand, and tapped it to my hair. My hair turned a glorious brown. I grabbed a very plain velvet dress that was emerald green and tapped it with my wand too. Silver, gold, and copper embroidery sprouted from my wand and twisted itself along the hem and folded around the shoulders where it started into vines. It was the kind of dress that had no sleeves and started at the shoulder. I slipped the dress over my head and shook myself. When I was in a magical dress, I felt more confident. I grabbed my violin, my wand, and my muggle music sheets. I slipped on my emerald suede high heels and dashed down the stairs. No one knew my violin was enchanted, but only for the first and second note. To get confidence and learn my complicated dance routine, I injected into my second note, but it was just so Harry could dance. Just you wait, Minerva. It's about to get crazy. Anyway, like, apparently she plays the Star-Spangled Banner at the ball. Which I put the entire lyrics of, which he also sings. Anyway, she sings the national anthem. Her voice was like an angel. Everyone clapped extremely hard. Harry stared. Violet was perfect in every way. Her looks, her intelligence, her patience, and her generosity. There had to be a niche in her somewhere. Then it clicked for Harry. She was very good at everything, but everyone prejudiced against her because she was an American. Suddenly, Fred and George came in. What? Suddenly, Fred and George came in. "Fred, George, you came!" Violet squealed gleefully, dashing over to them. Fred picked her up and swung her around. "Hey, Violet," said George. He hugged her tightly and ruffled her hair. Everyone stared at them. Hermione leaned over to Harry and said, "Fred and George are like her best guy friends. They helped her when she first came here. They're like family to her." An owl flew in the window carrying a letter. It landed in front of Violet, who had let go of George. Violet opened the letter curiously and read it. She immediately burst into tears and ran out of the hall, dropping her letter by the great hall door. "Accio letter," Hermione called, and the letter zoomed toward her. She read aloud. This is in Comic Sans. I think that needs to be noted. "Dear Violet Olivia Delacour, we hate to inform you that your parents have died. You know who has murdered them. The funeral is on September 4th. Arthur Weasley." "Oh my gosh," said Hermione. Fred and George went after Violet. Apparently, they knew where she went. For the final installment of our literature segment, our history segment here, we're gonna have to switch. We're gonna have to flip quite a bit away. There's many pages between where we just were and where I want to read. So basically what happens is Sirius comforts Violet about her dead parents. Violet calls Voldemort his real name, and she starts speaking in tongues, and then hold on, no, this is good. I'm gonna read this part. Violet screamed a sentence of an unknown language. Voldemort appeared at her side. "You murdered my parents, you fool!" she screeched. "So, you're just a mudblood," Voldemort said. "I'm no ordinary mudblood, Tom. I am a necromancer, and I am a text-to-amphibic parcel-mouth," Violet burst. "I can control all things, reflect all spells, and I am eternal living!" Voldemort looked at her in mild shock. "You called me Tom," Voldemort said angrily. "Yes, I did," Violet said, "for I am someone you know very dearly, but do not dare to speak of." Voldemort gasped and said, "You're really?" "Yes, I am Tom. That one you dearly loved, but died in 7th year. Do you still remember me?" "Yes," said Voldemort. "But I shall go." Voldemort disappeared. Violet sensed that Harry, Ron, and her group of friends were hiding somewhere close enough to hear what she said. Hermione gasped. "If she's eternally living, when was she born?" Hermione said. Let's check some old school yearbooks," said Lily. The group rushed up to the castle and entered the library. So then, they go to the library, they look in all the Hogwarts scroll yearbooks, they see someone that looks almost exactly like her, and it dates back, like, several centuries, I think. And then Violet brings back Harry's parents from the fucking dead. Yeah, so anyway, so it turns out that, like, the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher is dead, and Violet is the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher now. That is what you need to know. They're, like, researching her, and they're, like, trying to find out whether or not she can live forever, and, Voldemort and his army of Death Eaters threaten Hogwarts, and then Violet defeats all of them with, like, a single sentence, and then she has to go teach class. So, I am reading this very specific paragraph, this one right here, this little segment, very important. Here we go. From Violet's point of view. How could they think it was me in those books? I thought as I climbed the stairs to my classroom. I had many secrets, such as my immense power and reflection of spells. I can control anything so they can't block it. I don't need a wand, and I have strength so immense I could lift up a building. I am an expert at martial arts. I could kill Voldemort with a nod of my head, and I can blink. Blinking is where you think about a place and then you're there. That's in there. I had to tell you that the explanation of blinking is in the text. Which is actually pretty close to the spell from D&D. I was not playing Dungeons & Dragons at this point in time, but it's there. Blinking is where you think about a place and then you're there. I can freeze time without the spell I used. I can do anything, and yet I am still Muggle-born. I can read minds, I can sense evil, and I can tell if someone is behind me or not. It is amazing what I can do, and only Eliza and I know where I got it from. When I was a little girl, a horrible accident occurred. I will tell them about it someday. That's all for now. Maybe later in the season, we'll hear from Violet again. But I can tell if someone is behind me or not is probably my favorite line in the whole thing.